here we go again. Okay, so you learn about the enzyme, the production of enzyme. So you learn what is enzyme. So you learn the characteristics of enzyme, the intracellular enzyme production, how they are made from DNA, and then how the extracellular enzymes are being transported out of the cell through secretory vesicles with the help of RAR, Golgi apparatus, and secretory vesicles. Basically. Okay, so now let's see 6 factors affecting the rate of activity of enzyme or the enzyme activity. Okay, number 1, the temperature. Temperature, okay, it's not that hard to understand. Just put yourself into this situation where, imagine I put you into a room. I put you in a room, okay, and I slowly increase the temperature. So as the room becomes hotter, you're not going to stay at one place, right? So you start to run around, bang your head here, bang your head there, and you're not going to hug each other, of course. So the same thing happens to the enzyme and substrate. You remember the collision, the theory of gas, the collision of gas in physics, okay, where you increase the temperature, the more the gas will collide with each other. So same thing, the enzyme and substrate, the higher the temperature, they will collide more. Why? Okay, here's the chronology. When the temperature is low, the amount of kinetic energy you receive is low. As you increase the temperature, you increase the kinetic energy gained by the enzyme and substrate. So as they have more kinetic energy, they will move faster. As they move faster, you increase the chance of collision to happen. If collision happens, you increase the chance of substrate to bind to the active site of the enzyme, and higher chance to produce or to form enzyme-substrate complex. When the enzyme-substrate complex needs to be formed, you increase the enzyme activity. Okay, and you continue to increase until you reach your optimal temperature. Normally in your body temperature about 36 to 38. However, when you increase the temperature higher than your optimum temperature, okay, it's not about kinetic energy anymore, but the heat starts to change the structure of the enzyme. It starts to change the active site's shape. So now, when the shape of the active site changes, the substrate cannot bind to it. Okay, so at this stage, we call this enzyme to be denatured. It's not killed. We never kill an enzyme. Okay, I don't know about you, but for me, we never kill an enzyme. We call denatured. Okay, alright. If the temperature is not that high, it's higher than usual, but not that high, the denaturation of the enzyme is not prominent. However, if the temperature is quite high and it stays for a long time, the denaturation of the enzyme might be permanent. If permanent, then you lost enzyme in your body. Okay, next, number 2 is pH. pH, is about your surrounding in your environment. Normally, people want to stay in the neutral area, right? Same goes to the enzyme. So they like to stay near to pH 7, close to pH 7, except for certain enzymes like germine. Okay, so for example, pepsin they are found in your stomach, and your stomach contains gastric juice. It's a common knowledge, and gastric juice is made up of hydrochloric acid. So pepsin works best in acidic condition, which is around pH 2. If you take this pepsin and you put at other place which could have around maybe different pH, okay, this pepsin also will be denatured. Okay, so the enzyme activity will be low. Alright. Number 3, substrate concentration. Substrate concentration, when you add more substrates to your body. Okay, you see this graph. Alright, as you increase the number of substrate, the enzyme activity increase. but it stopped at one point, and then it stay constant. Okay, this constant level we call as the maximum enzyme activity. Why? Because at this point, the enzyme is known as the limiting factor. Okay, you see this image. Alright, so as it increase, as the number of the concentration of the substrate increase, there are still a lot of free active site of the enzyme. So this substrate can fill any active site. Okay, when they reach the maximum enzyme activity, right? So all of the active sites now are being filled with the substrate. If you continue adding more substrate, you will have excess substrate. Why? Because the number of enzymes is limited. The number of active sites is limited. So there are no more free active sites for the substrate to bind to the enzyme, right? No more free active sites. So you have excess substrate. You cannot increase your enzyme activity anymore. It stays at that level, maximum level. In other words, okay, let's say I put you into a school, alright, and I continue adding more boys. So all the girls will be like, ooh, no, not boys, not like Jeremy kind. No. This one is like the celebrity one, the one that you imagine, you dream of. Okay, so you start to have more relationships in your school. However, as you're adding more boys, the number of relationships will stay at maximum level, no more after that. Why? Because the girls are all occupied with boys, right? Girls are always loyal, hopefully. Okay, so there will be excess number of boys and hopefully no boys relationship. Okay, so that's the what we call as the Aristotle of it. Okay, alright, number 4. Enzyme concentration is quite different with the substrate concentration. Enzyme concentration, you add more enzyme, the enzyme activity will continue increasing. It will increase and increase if the number of substrate is not limited. If the number of substrate is limited, what will happen? You will come back to the same graph. Okay, you have limited number of substrate. Even if you add more enzyme, you will increase the enzyme activity after it reaches the maximum level. Why? Because all the substrates now have been used, have been formed, have been converted into the enzyme substrate complex. There are no more substrates to form with a free active site or free enzyme. So you can increase the enzyme activity. Okay, let's share the same story. In other words, I put you in the school where I continue adding girls. The number of relationships will increase, even though the number of boys stays the same. Why? Because, boys. You understand me? Okay? Alright, unless. Okay, and then number 5, cofactor. Cofactor is like a helper and assistant. Okay, so this cofactor is any substances that can change alter the shape of the active site of the enzyme. So for what? So that this enzyme can work more more effectively, and they can work faster. So of course they can increase the enzyme activity. Alright, so example of the substances are sodium ion, potassium ion, vitamin B1 and vitamin B6. So these are some excuses where you should not avoid eating vegetables. Alright, okay, and then last one is inhibitors. Inhibitors, alright, so any substances that can slow down the activity of the enzyme. For example, there are heavy metals. Here we have lead and mercury. Okay, in other words, inhibitors memory is like what? Let's say in a school, so you have girls and boys where they love to make any relationship, and then suddenly the rules come where you can't set up any relationship. So the number of the switch starts to reduce, and reduce. So inhibitors is like that. Okay, so you understand? Yes, I know you. Okay, alright, so I hope you complete your note in your notebook based on your understanding, and please do not tell the story about the girls and the boys in this group. Okay? Alright, thank you.